In a Call 7 investigation, a Denver chiropractor could have lost his license. Instead, the state settled for what his former patients say is a slap on the wrist. Call 7 investigator Theresa Marchetta first exposed complaints about Brandon Credeur's business practices more than a year ago. So, Theresa, what happened?
Well, Credeur went before an administrative law judge on allegations that he misled patients and practiced outside his scope. But the result? He's vindicated and keeps his license as long as he keeps better records. His former patients say it's a slap in the face from the agencies charged with protecting them.
He got off of all of this?
It's the news they've waited more than a year to hear.
I am angered and I feel betrayed.
But it's not what they were expecting.
They're supposed to protect us, and they did nothing.
She's talking about Brandon Credeur's administrative hearing, defending his license against 25 counts brought by the chiropractic board, including negligent chiropractic practice, false or misleading advertising, and unethical advertising.
Just to give you an update, we've been exonerated and vindicated. That's the good news.
Credeur admits to nothing, gets to keep his license, but agrees to keep better records. But his troubles may not be over yet. 31 of his former patients have joined forces, taking Credeur to civil court.
I just don't understand where the justice is coming from.
More than 50 of his former patients came to our studio to learn the outcome of Credeur's hearing. They were blindsided by the lack of consequences, many thinking they had filed complaints but were never contacted by the state.
How many of you actually did file complaints with Dora and the Attorney General's office?
They didn't seem to take it too seriously and didn't even take my complaint, I don't think, as I recall. Just told me to call somebody else.
My testimony took nearly 3 hours.
Sandra Draper is one of the former patients called to share her story at Credeur's hearing.
It was grueling. It took a lot out of me. Still takes a lot out of me.
She has MS and says she was told there was a neurologist on Credeur's staff.
We're here, we're telling him, we're warning him.
Cheri Carey didn't even know Credeur was a chiropractor when she went to him for thyroid help. She spent $8,000 and says she ended up with months of diarrhea, unable to work.
I thought, well, this is a slam dunk.
Dave Strauss also spent more than $8,000 on bags of supplements and a program he says caused his blood sugar to spike.
All the Attorney General's and Dora's office have to see is the video.
Web videos uncovered in a series of Call 7 investigations made by Credeur, selling other chiropractors his methods to attract new patients.
You can begin to learn how to explode your practice on a cash basis, collecting an extra $50, $60, $70, $100,000 a month in cash like that.
Videos the Attorney General's office subpoenaed from 7 News,
but these patients are desperate,
but never used in their case.
Start filling the pipeline with leads, people calling your office, what we call deal flow.
These people were sick people that relied on someone to help them, that didn't have the ability to help them. That ought to be against the law in Colorado.
Senate Minority Leader John Morse was as baffled as the patients who trusted state regulators to help them.
Maybe we should not be funding the Board of Chiropractic. I mean, if this is what they do, it's a waste of the taxpayers' money. To heck with it.
In response to our original Call 7 investigation, Morse introduced legislation to better protect patients and plans to rework the bill next session. He says this case points to even bigger flaws in the system.
This is very shoddy work on the part of a regulatory agency and on the part of the Attorney General.
Somebody needs to regulate Dora and the Attorney General's office because they're not doing what they need to do.
Brandon Credeur never returned my call in response to my request for an interview. Now, several of the patients who reached out to us were signed up and seen by Heather Credeur, Brandon Credeur's wife. She signed a stipulation agreement, though, just like her husband did, and the couple has already launched a new marketing company. Both the AG's office and Dora have refused to sit down for an on-camera interview to discuss why they settled, but we will get answers. Ann?